this committee, and it's our responsibility, obviously, to ensure for the American taxpayer that the budgeting process is working for them. I came to Washington to help rein in out-of-control spending and advocate for the taxpayer, and I really did think that this process, this dual committee assignment, would allow us to do that properly. But instead, it has really opened my eyes to just how broken this process is here in Washington, D.C., and how much work there is to do in this very room. The good news is that I still believe the members of this committee can work together to put a shining light on this and improve this situation. I think we should be using the Budget Committee process and the entire congressional budget process properly. We need to allow that committee to do its work properly instead of establishing these budgetary levels to keep spending in check and just ramming through a massive partisan spending plan like we're seeing what's happening here that costs taxpayers trillions and trillions of dollars. We shouldn't be deeming our top-line numbers and then working backwards from there. It's backwards. It's irresponsible, and it's how we get to a place of mixed-up priorities like what we're seeing today. Nearly every single one of these 302Bs shows a substantial increase to push an agenda that is not benefiting the average American. But there is one 302B that's astonishingly absent from this list of massive increases, and it's the defense level, which we've already heard about from several of my colleagues here today. At a time when we are facing daily threats from terrorist groups abroad and obviously our countries that we've discussed that are mounting threats to us as well, counter-adversaries like China and Russia, we must ensure that our government is also performing its most basic functions to provide for the common defense for us. But unfortunately, this proposal before us today in the 302Bs fails woefully short on that front. The defense allocation is abysmal, and when you adjust for inflation, it is actually a cut. Congress is even giving itself more money with a healthy plus-up for the ledge branch, while those that keep our country safe overseas and our agents at our southern border are left with breadcrumbs. The priorities laid before us today are not the priorities of working Americans, and the result of this irresponsible spending is clear. Gas prices are up, the cost of lumber has skyrocketed, and a tax on working families has come in the form of inflation that we're seeing across this country. And for what? To support Green New Deal policies and large government programs that are keeping workers home, all while Main Street businesses are suffering. We have before us today a plan that vastly expands the size of the federal government, adding more than 50,000 new federal employees. And I represent northern Iowa, northeast Iowa, including Howard and Worth counties. If you do the math and add up the population of those two counties and then multiply that by 3, you still do not get the number of new federal employees that this budget and these spending priorities would add. The American people are smart, Madam Chair, and they don't like government bloat. I don't like it either, and I don't think many members of this committee like it. So I cannot support a plan that prioritizes bigger government for the sake of bigger government over the needs of everyday Iowans. And I urge my colleagues to reject these spending levels. Let's begin keeping the American taxpayer in mind. Let's go back to the drawing board. Let the Budget Committee do its proper work and not bypass this process. Madam Chair, I yield.